be, you know, not so involved in like dysfunctional behaviour?
It's a tough one. I think people are addicted to social media. People are being led to have low self-esteem, and probably being led into actually having low interactive capabilities with each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's tough, you know. Especially in Ireland, there's not many places, like we don't have many outlets that we can go to meet. Like, okay, there is a skate park if you skate, and there's like, you know, there's not even really many there's just not many hangout spots like for
not in Tramore anyway.
Nah, not in Tramore, definitely not.
Because most people be hanging out by Tesco or Bank of Ireland.
That's nowhere. That's not a place to hang out.
On the street.
That's somewhere more enjoyable.
You'd see a lot of big groups of teens with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like
and then they go somewhere, the guards tell them to leave.
We all did it, like when we were young.
Everybody
Yeah,
else.
it was the same, on Dunmore Road. Like, I hung out on Dunmore Road. It was the exact same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Especially nowadays that you know, maybe not for the kids, but people our age or a bit older.
Yeah.
They just seem so like there's no compassion, or they're really aggressive.
Yeah, perhaps there's a lack of respect. There's a lack of compassion. I think people are not engaging in any worthwhile practices. You know what I mean? Like, we're not. I was definitely not taught compassion at school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, or really by peers. I don't know where you learn that. So, like, maybe people need to start. People need to start learning these qualities.
Yeah.
I don't know where and I don't know how. Do you know what I mean? I think more people.
Do you think emotions would contribute to intelligence?
Emotions contribute to intelligence. Elaborate on your question.
Because like if you're saying, you know, people in school they're not talking from a place of passion, or you know, people who are addicted to social media. Like you might put something up and they're just all they comment is negativity.
Yeah.
And like, you know, people who are so like maybe emotionless or maybe too emotional. Do you think that would affect their intelligence in any way?
Emotionless or too emotional affecting their intelligence. It's a tough question. I think there's such a thing as emotional intelligence. I think like intelligent people, let's say otherwise intelligent people, can be very emotionally unintelligent. Do you get me?
That's true.
I think.
So you say like they lack empathy and stuff like that.
Whereas some of the most empathetic people may be. I don't think there's really a correlation. I'm not an expert, but I think intelligence and compassion, emotional awareness can all be can all be gotten. You know what I mean? You can acquire all of these things. It would have been nice though, I think, to have acquired them in the same place. Like when I was learning in school, to kind of to have even any learning about myself. You know what I mean? There was absolutely none. Like, it was kind of just like religion time. Like Jesus loves you.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, there was no real kind of connecting in with the self. There was no mention of it once. Like you know what I mean? But there was just learning. Learning. I guess I learned that I loved learning from school, so that was a good thing. And then I went on to kind of continue wanting to learn more so from that. But like these days, people are just. It seems like the desire to learn is pretty low. Do you know what I mean? Think about the generation, right? We like they all have every answer to every question in their pocket anyway. So they don't want to learn that new. They don't feel like I need to learn this new thing. It's like if ever I should need that bit of information, it's right there for me. I can continue being ignorant and just partaking in whatever sort of unengaging activities I want. You know what I mean? Like rather than I'd love to actually kind of learn something new today. Do you know? I don't think that desire is there. Like when that desire starts becoming more commonplace, I think we'll see a more emotionally attuned and more. I don't know. Can you even maybe just say like a more higher conscious society, a more conscious society even than a higher conscious.
And a lot of people will have to discover their consciousness. I don't think a lot of people are in tune with that.
They need to get woke.
Yes.
and then they need to stay woke.
Do you not think though, one of the things, just picking up on what you're saying, do you not think it's interesting that I would say that compassion is something that naturally we should have?
Yeah.
If you see somebody, doesn't matter what they are, who they are, what skin colour they are, anything, and you see them in a state of distress, then your compassion should just naturally kick in.
But the internet is
Yeah,
desensitized us.
But you know the same way, like if I kick your shin right now, you're going to naturally react, right, with going ow and hurt, being in pain. Do you think that there's something missing by the fact that we need to start teaching compassion again? Do you think there's something has gone wrong there?
I don't think you could be taught though. Really.
Do you not think
I want you to take that one.
Well, I mean, like, it's definitely, we were definitely more compassionate before the internet. You know, we see, like...
Yeah, when you said desensitized, what did you mean?
We're desensitized to, like, we see stuff on Facebook every day, like, some fella has his car window was smashed, and everyone was like, that's hilarious, you know what I mean? Like, but if that was you, you'd be like, it's my window gone, you know what I mean? Like, you have to pay so many €100, like,
the hassle.
Yeah, I know.
Grief.
This might seem strange, but when something bad happens to like someone, like I always thinking like, what if that happened to my mom or one of my friends or something? You know, I think that's made me a lot more compassionate and empathetic for whatever reason. I just don't know why. You know.
Yeah, I think. I think we're exposed to a lot of non-compassionate acts. You know what I mean, and just sort of non-compassionate ideals even.
Yeah.
That's just sort of that's become the norm as well. But as you were saying, your question, you were saying like, do we need to be taught that as well? I think there is an awareness raising of that. You know, there is a lot more discussion of it. Well, we're having one now.
Sure.
But day to day though, you do. I think I do anyway. Like if you seek to see like the compassion in others, I think you will. You know, if you seek to see the negatives in others, you probably will. You know, so like I look for positive qualities in myself, so I aim to be compassionate. By doing that alone, I seek to identify the same things in others. So whoever else is compassionate, say, okay, what is compassion? I want to be like that. You know what I mean? These are how you kind of learn these sort of traits, I think.
Look, there's isn't there a scale of, we learned it in school, it's like a scale of emotional intelligence, like when you're young.
I didn't see that now. I would like to see that. What subject?
I think it was in religion actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's class.
Like there's a whole big name on it and everything, but basically the ins and outs of it are that, like, when you're young, like, kids are selfish. I mean, they can't help it. Like, they want something, like, they want that toy and they want it now, you know.
That's it.
And then, like, when you grow older, you grow to, you know, give more than you take. You know what I mean? So that's, I mean, like, that's why some people reach the roof and they have the emotional intelligence of a kid. You know, they stay selfish. But then you often see that older people are the kindest because they're just the most compassionate. That's just the way.
Yeah.
It goes.
While we're talking about this though, about the younger generations versus the older generations, I think maybe we should, because this is kind of it's a topic we don't normally talk about too much. So, tying emotional intelligence with mental health. Would you say that amongst our generation at the moment that we have a mental health crisis amongst younger men in particular? Do you think that this is true, or do you think it's like something that we're pushing too much?
I think first define mental health issue or mental health crisis. What's that mean?
Let's say somebody comes to you and they say, okay, Cal, I'm suffering with depression and they don't know what to do. I would consider that to be a mental health issue.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I think that is quite commonplace. I think depression, anxiety, low self-esteem are quite widespread issues. Across young males, definitely, I wouldn't say more so. I'd probably say more so among females, like. But who knows? I actually don't know.
Like body image issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like anything, you know what I mean? Just like social anxiety, I suppose, based on appearance.
Yeah.
Different stuff like that. Like from a men's perspective, maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe there is the same kind of things. Like,
but also men feel they're stigmatized when they speak out about it.
Yeah, because like we were talking earlier about before you were we were talking about like what it means to be a man and what it is to be a woman and how those guidelines were set out by basically in advertising. Like 60, 70 years ago, what it is to be manly.
It's not manly to cry or talk about mental depression or whatever you may have.
Yeah.
But then all the women, they talk about it freely. And they're applauded when they...
Well, which
like,
they should be.
Not to shame.
They should be able to,
Not to
but
shame
it's just
them,
that
but
men aren't kind
it's
of
just they
allowed.
Yeah, they struggle to
females to male.
It's... See, I don't know, maybe you're overestimating how easy it is for women to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
I think...
It's difficult for anybody.
I think, you know, when you're in a bad place, when you're in a hole, like it doesn't matter what your gender is, like it's hard to talk about. Like maybe I don't know, maybe you disagree. People think women find it easier to talk about. I find it easier to talk about my emotions than some men and some women, and there's going to be some men and some women that find it even easier than me or find it harder than me. Do you know, like I come somewhere in the middle. Like I don't mind talking about my emotions. You know. They're good or if they're bad. It's definitely it is a really important thing. I think I would encourage, it doesn't matter what gender, everyone to talk to each other, men and women, to all talk to each other about their emotions. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way to understand them. And to not just understand your own emotions, but to just understand human emotions. You know, and to become a more compassionate world. Like. Probably it should be discussed more and more. Like there is definitely it has been like we've been led to believe what you said about men not having the they don't have the chance. Like, you know, it's men are seen looked down upon for being open about it. But I think that's on the way out as well. Like
even though I think we're I think Ireland is especially trying to destigmatise it among men. I think it is still very like it's not common at all for men to talk out.
It's not
about their mental health. It's still ingrained in the psyche that men don't talk, they bottle things up. You know? I think it'll be there forever, to be honest.
I read an article the other day, and this guy was talking about that it's easier for him to buy alcohol and a bag of coke than to seek mental health. So that's, I don't know how that's even possible. Like 2019.
That's crazy. It definitely is, and I think people with mental health issues though, and this is quite sad too. Like people with mental health issues are unable to look at the factors that may be causing their issues because nobody's just looking at it in such a blatant like maybe alcohol is just making you depressed, or maybe social media these pressures is just the thing that's making you depressed. You know, you see everyone else with things that you don't have and you want them, and it's making you depressed. You know, it's making you feel like these things that other people have are unattainable for you, so you're of some sort of less worth. Like, you know, I would see that as a huge cause of depression. You know what I mean? Like I think understanding depression is important, but understanding the root causes. You know what I mean? Like
and they're all changeable. So that's why, like what you said there, that's why sometimes I think when people say they're depressed or whatever, and some people say, oh, it's a mental disease or something, sometimes I think that's just a cop-out. because you're saying it's a mental disease, so you're saying that there's no factors in your life you can change to get
Yeah.
better. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think personally, this might sound a bit controversial, but I think there's a lot of people claiming to be mentally ill when it's they're not depressed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they might have a couple of down days, because I think it comes down to social media, really, Twitter especially. There's a culture on Twitter. You might agree with me, Gavin, that like people that it's like sensationalizing or like making it seem good to be depressed. Like people are. I don't know.
the word just gets thrown
I
around.
know what you're saying.
It just gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah, it gets thrown around a lot.
Like, of course, there is a lot of people that are, you know, really depressed, but there are some people that think that it's cool to be mentally ill.
Well, especially on Twitter.
And that in itself is quite depressing.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I was just saying, when James mentioned Twitter, especially on Twitter, because more so than ever nowadays anyway, Twitter seems to be kind of like the cancer of our society for our generation anyway. Because it's just like all these, like again, not to single out any women, but like the amount of women I see on Twitter who just absolutely obliterate any sort of man for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason behind it.
Yeah, I don't be on Twitter, man. I don't see any of that.
They're off.
The
best one is
one of the things that I find interesting though is you tied it in really nicely earlier when you said like you want positivity in your life. So you gave the example of Donald Trump, that you just don't tune out. I mean, do people not have a certain level of blame if you guys are right that that not everybody's mentally ill and there's factors? Is it not kind of your own fault then if you're on Twitter? That you put yourself in that position.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. Yeah, and people, people fail to recognize this. Yeah, it is like
it's hard to get out of it though.
It's your own fault, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be like, oh, it's your own fault. You got yourself into this mess, kind of thing. Like, and just leave them there.
Yeah.
Like I think.
But you can always tune out of Twitter, right? You can always.
You can, but I think people feel like they can't. People really feel like they can't. They feel like they have to know. They got FOMO, you know.
Yeah, FOMO.
They gotta know what's going on, and even like this is the thing that really confused me about cyberbullying. But maybe it's just kind of like, okay, so you're being abused, you're being just torn apart online. You know, abuse is rolling in. The obvious solution is to ignore it. That's not going to upset you because you're just not going to see it. It means nothing. But people do have an underlying desire to want to know what people hate about them.
Yeah.
You get me? They want to know. They want to see the abuse. Like, I think if there was a huge abuse thread about me, I'd want to see it. Do you know what I mean? I would want to see it, but it wouldn't get me down. I'd get a crack off it, but it would get some people down. But I think we share the desire to want to see it. Like, do you get me? What do you think? Same question to you. If there's a huge if you're just getting
questions back at us.
If you're just getting torn apart online, just a load of abuse, would you tune out, or would you actually kind of want to feed it? Like, you'd even want to stand up for yourself.
I'd be furious,
you know.
Probably,
anytime I was getting into something with someone, like I would want to stand up for myself rather than just back down. Like and people can just continue coming with abuse, and it doesn't have to be a good argument against you.
I don't know about
just
you guys.
straight out
but,
abuse you.
No, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I think I have a very thick skin. So like when you were saying earlier that you don't watch the news because it puts you in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Like I understand that completely. I know a lot of people like that, but like I can just look at that stuff and it just like bounces off me.
Yeah.
You know, even
I used to have thin skin. Like, I wasn't able to take any sort of flack, but sure, then I started working in restaurants and stuff, like, you have to get used to it straight away. Cause
you do.
Like, we had one customer there a couple of weeks ago, and he was just going to town, like, this is not acceptable, and this, that, and the other, like, you just have to learn.
You just have to take it with a smile. You're just like, I know.
I was like,
this is not acceptable.
I was just like, I don't know what I can do but apologise. I said, then you just have to block it out straight away because it's a busy job, during the weekend and stuff.
Yeah, especially if you live on Twitter, like if you hate Donald Trump or you hate anyone, you can go into your settings and block all tweets that mention Donald Trump.
Yeah, you can.
All tweets that mention Cal Pacino or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to see it if you don't want to.
But you want to.
Yeah, but then you do see it and it puts you in a bad
I mean,
mood.
I could
Like,
go on
That's
my
it,
phone
but this
right
whole
now
thing,
to
like
Twitter,
people do want to see it, like
so
you know what I mean?
It's kind of like self-sabotage.
Yeah.
It's so silly.
That's why I wonder, are you if you're partly to blame? I mean,
Yeah,
you
you are,
always
yeah.
could click out, but
It's like the modern self harm, I think. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like the modernized
putting
version.
yourself through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like do you know, just putting yourself out there to just get dissed, like you know what I mean? But, oh man, you'd see some shit on there, like it's just.
And a lot of people, that's the first thing they see in the morning. So that's just setting them up for a bad
I don't
day.
know how we got into that. Like, you know, first thing you do in the morning is like years ago it used to be coffee, cigarette.
Get the
now
alarm
it's-
clock.
Now it's onto fucking Twitter or Facebook or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
Get
I
your
do it
feed,
too.
man.
yeah.
Get your feed.
I
Like.
do it too. You know.
It's an addiction.
Yeah. I mean, I could open my phone right now and delete Twitter, but I won't because I don't know why. Like, there's
You
just
want to
fun.
see what's happening on there?
Yeah, I don't go on it too much. Like, I don't tweet or anything. I'm just more of a lurker.
Just wanna
than
see
anything
it.
else, like, just
Dude,
want to
you
like,
start tweeting, bro.
yeah. No, because then like, I'd be too embarrassed. Too embarrassed.
No.
I see something on Twitter, and I don't have Twitter. I was delighted to see it. Someone said, "Who should have a tiny desk next?" And someone I don't know said, "Cal Pacino."
Yeah, the
That's
tiny
the
desk,
job.
tiny desk
That's
concerts
the
are
job.
really, they're really good job.
I think at a time though there was a lot of abuse about me on Twitter as well that I didn't see.
Really?
Like yeah, because I wasn't on it, or I got shown it. I was on it. I was like, oh, jeez, that's weird.
Why did they show you that though? Like,
Just cause like I don't know.
yeah. No, see, say if somebody
Yeah, actually,
was
no.
abusing Gavin online, on like, say if he didn't have Twitter, like, I don't know if you'd want me to show it to you or not, but I probably wouldn't.
I'd show you straight away.
Totally different.
I would
Yeah.
appreciate both.
Depends who. Depends who it
You know
is.
what I mean? Like that.
Bye.
Yeah.
No, I think like not to infuriate you, but like just to let you
make
know,
aware, like.
yeah, to make you aware, to raise your
But
awareness
sometimes it's
of
good though,
people's
'cause,
supposed
like,
views.
what are you doing to make all these people angry? You know, so if you show me that, then there's something I have to change.
I think if people hate online, like, I know this sounds kind of cringy or whatever, but it's normally that they're like jealous of something about you. You know, they're like there's no reason to like hate you so much unless you like did something to bet them up or something. But
Yeah.
like there is like a level of jealousy there, I think.
Are there any other main issues you could see facing young people today that we've missed?
Now we've actually talked about it a lot. I think
How about drug use? I mean, you
yeah, drug use is
like
pretty
you,
rampant.
the
like.
thing is, right? I mean, like the three of us, we all like a good night out, and we'll go out every now and again, and blah blah blah. You're playing most nights of the week, so I'm sure you see some crazy things. You see people out of their minds and stuff. Like, would you say, what would you describe drug use as? Would you say it's a problem? Would you say it's normal? How would you approach it?
Well, it depends what the drug is, doesn't it?
Well, I think
It-
Colin
it
was talking about
doesn't-
hard drugs.
It doesn't just
Classically.
it doesn't just depend on the drug. It depends on the people as well. Like you see, so like not all drug consumption is a problem. It becomes a problem when the consumption is like at the level where it's out of the control of the consumer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there definitely is. There is a huge drug problem in Waterford specifically.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There is a
there is,
huge drug problem.
Do you think that clubs have normalised the use of hard drugs? Like especially the
I wouldn't say the clubs
the
themselves.
techno scene or the electronic music scene.
Yeah, I'd say the music scene.
agree
Yeah,
with
I
that.
wouldn't say like the individual club itself because they still will throw you out if they see you like
Yeah, of course.
selling
yeah, of
drugs
course.
or
The clubs
taking
playing-
drugs.
I mean, there's clubs
Or
that play that
offering
type of
head
music,
drugs.
like, and there's clubs that are synonymous with drug use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big
It's
time.
an interesting question you just raised because I was thinking, I was only thinking like, how many people would go to these raves that are always packed if it was a sober rave, like, you know what I mean? If it was a drug-free rave, would it still have the same following? Would it still be the same atmosphere in there? Like, do you get me?
Yeah.
And I reckon though, I had a lot of my friends like who just do love that music, like that.
There
really,
are
like,
people that
the
just love
atmosphere, their enjoyment of a night wouldn't depend on the drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just get a good buzz off being there. and they actually just love the music that much, and that's who should really be there, you know. There is a whole like in the club scene, it's kind of just like once you're off your head on drugs, it doesn't matter who you're going to see, you're just fucking getting into the fish tank, like, you know what I mean?
Even in the pubs around though, you know, there's a lot of, especially in Waterford, like there's still a lot of drugs being used, you know. It's,
More than ever.
more than
I think more and more daily, like,
Yeah.
you know, it is like.
I think it's not just a Waterford problem though. I've seen it on newspapers and stuff that like up in Tipperary area and everything, like there's councillors raising the issue because like this is all going on in pubs and stuff, like you know, it's just rampant now more than ever because it's so accessible. As Gavin said, it's easier to get a pint and a bag of coke than it is to get help. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I think in smaller towns as well, it'll probably be even worse.
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
like where there's less to do, but drugs.
Mm.
There's gonna be more drugs being done. Do you get me? Because there's less else to do.
Yeah.
Do you know?
The Waterford itself is full of coke.
Yeah, absolutely
Oh,
full of
opioids.
coke. Yeah.
I'm sure it's
Yeah,
not just
coke-
Waterford though.
Yeah.
Coke is just the next commodity after alcohol. Like
Yeah,
it's just
really.
literally just like.
What do you think of people that sell it? Do you have a view that what they're doing is immoral or evil or wrong? What do you think? Because
Yeah, I'd say
if this is a problem, if it's causing people to be out of their minds, or
yeah.
it's causing people to be so like intoxicated, like beyond what's safe,
Yeah.
it's surely a problem. What do you think?
It is a problem, and the drug dealer is partially to blame, but just as much as somebody working in McDonald's pumping out toxic food.
Yeah.
I guess they're kind of unaware
It's a really
Mm.
of the harm that they're really doing. Do you know?
You say the consumer is somewhat to blame too, right?
The consumer. Yeah, I put the blame more so on the consumer than like, you know, the supply is only there because the demand is there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the demand is absolutely huge, and I think that the drug problem probably is stemming directly from the mental health
So-
issues that we were just talking
Right.
about.
So if somebody's using it, or say you came across somebody who was out of their mind, would you say it's a health problem, or do you think that it's a criminal issue?
Well, you see, it may not be a problem in the first place.
Okay.
So, I don't think it should be a crime to take any drug. I don't think it shouldn't be a crime to alter your consciousness.
Okay.
However, it is, and that itself is a huge problem. Like the stigma attached to drugs that shouldn't be is partially it's causing a lot of the drug problems we have, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
So the drugs are not safe because they're illegal, you know.
That's true.
They're being overused, they're being abused because there's such a stigma about them, and it's all being done in secret, and it's also unregulated.
Right.
The prices of drugs are not regulated. They could be any price. The quality of drugs is not regulated, you know. So it could be
Unsafe.
yeah, it could be extremely strong, or it could be weak but filled with really other harmful stuff that you don't know. It's just totally unregulated. It's so unsafe. But the fact it's illegal is not making it any safer. It's probably making it less safe. The fact that it's illegal, you know, because then you're forced to get it from an illegal supplier,
Right.
and you're forced to take it illegally in secret, you know, or well, it's not really in secret anymore. I mean, like drugs actually are so common that they are just sort of
It becomes so
everywhere.
normalised.
Yeah, it's not really hidden. You smell weed everywhere, you know.
Yeah,
You would like
yeah.
you'd see the remnants of cannabis use everywhere, you know. You'd see baggies and stuff. I see baggies all over town. Like, for don't know what it's in. Obviously, there's just drugs in them, like, you know. I don't know what drugs, but there's just empty baggies all over town. Like, you know, that's weird. I think it shouldn't be a criminal issue, but it is. There's no warning on them either, you know.
Right.
So there's no real like the information that was given to me about drugs in school was so wrong.
Backward, yeah.
Yeah, it was so wrong, and even at a young age, I knew how wrong it was. They were like, "This is this," and I was like, "That's not that." You know what I mean? Like.
And we have an interview later this week with somebody from CBD Ireland.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you have any question that you would like us to pose to them?
Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Tommy told me he was coming on. No, but I'm sure you'll have a great chat with him as well. I wouldn't really have any questions for him. We're normally chatting back and forth all the time anyway. Playing CBD or in the odd time, and they have music on there on Fridays.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, but
Every Friday.
I think it actually is every Friday. Yeah, it wasn't for a few weeks over Christmas. I think they were getting renovations done in there or something. But yeah, for a while it was every Friday there. Might be every Friday again. Yeah.
Before we sign off, is there any gigs you'd like to plug or anything you'd like to say to our audience?
Not really.
No.
Just like I'm always keeping people up to date on my social media of what's happening. Generally short notice because I get them in quite short notice, so it's kind of just like I'll be around, you know. I'll be around if you're around.
Cal, thanks for coming on.
Sorry, before we
Thank
end
you.
that, can I just ask you a final question?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
You were just talking about drugs there and whatnot, so what would you think about psychedelics? You know, 'cause obviously every drug is mind altering and you know, it changes your consciousness and whatnot, but you know, for me anyway, I think psychedelics would be, you know, I think they should 100% be legalized.
Yeah, well, I don't think any drug should be a crime. Psychedelics are particularly dangerous, so they should be. I mean, we should. In an ideal society, they would be seen as special things that are used on very very occasionally, like. Maybe even sometimes only once, you know, people have an ayahuasca experience. It's like a total rebirth of the ego. You're only going to need that once. You know? You're not going to be doing that every Saturday night.
They
Like,
say
you
you should only
to.
do the likes of LSD only once every 3 months.
Yeah.
Because what's it called? The happiness.
Serotonin
levels.
Dopamine or whatever.
They actually, if you're doing that every day, they're gone.
Yeah,
your
it's
ability
the same,
to feel happy is
same
gone.
with, well, I think that's more so with MDMA really depletes your serotonin. LSD does as well, but there is people microdose with it,
Yeah,
so
I've
they
seen
just
that
take a
already.
little small bit that wouldn't actually have a huge effect on the conscious mind.
Yeah.
It's more so working on the subconscious, really behind the
It's
scenes.
good, it's a voice
people do
documentary.
it.
It's a good documentary about microdosing.
Is it, yeah?
I just think
Yeah,
it's psychedelics.
like that wouldn't deplete your serotonin.
No.
I think they help aid so much in like self-discovery or you know, like educationally speaking.
Yeah.
I think more
Yeah,
so than
they-
hard drugs, obviously.
The experiences themselves are great educators, I think.
Yeah. Especially
They are something that all adults should enjoy to lead to a more purposeful, meaningful life, and to better themselves. But we're just a million miles away from that. Like we're so far off that. You know, they're just seen as they're not seen as how they should be seen. Like they're not revered with any of the great qualities that they do have. They're just seen as very very dangerous, and they are very dangerous because you know, when abused, like it's a lot more risky like than like coke or something like that. You know, in terms of like if there was someone driving or operating heavy machinery or even just you know, in any sort of social setting, like even on their own, they may be of harm to themselves, like in the wrong setting, where it's out of control, and there's no right setting in a country where it's illegal.
No,
do you know what I mean?
That's true. People, we kind of need to stress that if people use this, you run the risk.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're even in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah, you could get a criminal record.
You still are committing a crime in the eyes of the Irish law system, you know. So that's kind of.
And especially if the people taking them are in a dark place mentally.
Yeah.
You know, the trip they have is
Make it
going
worse.
to be awful.
If it's a bad trip, like that could affect you for the rest of your life.
Really mess you up.
It's especially if you
Yeah.
take a high dose.
Yeah, 100%. I think a bad trip is a bad trip can be perceived different ways. Like, you know, it can mess people up for the rest of their life, or you know, I think you gotta take it. This is why you gotta be so careful with them, and nobody is, because nobody knows about them.
Yeah.
But you gotta go into it knowing it's gonna be a learning experience, you
Yeah.
know, and there may be some unsavory realizations in there. So you know, what somebody who had a bad trip is somebody that went in unaware of what they were going to see, or unprepared for something like that. You know what I mean? So I think the more awareness worldwide, or even for a person taking it, the more awareness they had of it before, the less likely they're gonna have a bad trip. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some people you should get in touch with are the Psychedelic Society of Ireland. They're
Okay.
really cool people. They just host honest discussions about psychedelics. They get together in a group and talk.
Are they in
People
Waterford?
talk about. I met them in Waterford. They were in Waterford once at a festival called Rather Gather, but I think they're based in UCC.
Okay.
And maybe also DCU. They'd be based in college campuses. There'd be students and lecturers alike, and non-students, you know, non-associates of the college, where we were just members.
Yeah.
They just kind of host nice. The one I was at, it was just a meeting of the Psychedelic Society of Ireland, and they hosted a meeting where they kind of had a discussion circle where one person at a time shared their first, their best and worst psychedelic experiences, or if they had no psychedelic experience. And it was kind of an open discussion that people could ask each other questions and share the good things and the bad things, in all honesty, which was really good to see. And I learned a lot about psychedelics from that discussion alone. People that had amazing experiences, people that had terrible experiences on all different things that I'd never even heard of. Psychedelic experiences, and they actually had little leaflets that were like safety information on because it was at a festival, so there's going to be drugs at a festival, there's going to be psychedelics that said, look, this is this, it's going to do this, don't take it if you're this or that, don't take it if you don't know what you're doing, if you never, like, I think there's different levels to them, like you should definitely never do this unless you've done a bit of this. You know what I mean? Like, or unless you know what it's going to be like, and the only way you know what it's going to be like is from like maybe a smaller dose or a different psychoactive substance. Psychedelics. Definitely a lot more to be like a lot of more doors to be open about them. You know, people are still very in the dark about them. I'd like to raise more awareness about them. Those guys I mentioned are raising more awareness about them. The Psychedelic Society of Ireland.
That's brilliant.
You seem to have some good insights into them as well. So keep the discussion going. You know.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you asked me that.
Good question.
There's a plethora of good questions. So many. Do you have any more?
No, I think we covered the whole lot.
Did you ask him about marijuana?
Yeah, no, I asked about the drugs. That was the music and drugs. So
Music and drugs, yeah, man. They're always
Hand in hand.
yeah, they're kind of always hand in hand. But well, they don't have to be either.
No, they
you
don't
know,
have to
like
be.
music is my drug of choice.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like it can
One is
be
needed for the
its
other.
own thing. Yeah, like I mean, you see music therapy for recovering drug addicts. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
music is amazing.
It is. I saw a video before of this guy who was deaf for years and years, and somehow he regained his hearing or something, or he got some special hearing aid or something.
That shit would blow my mind.
And
I've been binge watching stuff like that.
and they played his favorite music
Deaf
from like the
baby
50s.
years.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah,
Yeah.
he said crying.
oh no, he was
It's amazing.
What was it? What was he?
he had like developed Alzheimer's or something.
Oh,
And he was
Alzheimer's.
like he wouldn't talk. You know, he was just kind of rocking around the chair. Then they played like Cap Calloway or something, you know, and
Yeah.
he just started singing along.
Yeah.
Then he started talking about it then, you
Yeah.
know, which was really cool.
I was actually, this is probably something I should have mentioned, but like it's good that we got this far because this actually led me to this memory which I haven't thought of in ages. But one time I was playing in a nursing home, I was with a group that do that as a profession. That they bring the music into the nursing home and they just do any, you know, they do very old songs. There'll be old people in there, like they have an older kind of repertoire and stuff. But it's amazing. You see the difference that that music has on people like that are having an otherwise very uneventful day. Like, you know, they're just kind of they're in a sad setting. You know, they're kind of just wasting away in there. Like
Really
they are being they are. They're very low energy, but you bring a bit of music in there, man. It brings the life in. Like it brings
them back.
it brings them back. Brings them back, man. That's the best way to put it. It brings them back to their memories. It brings them back to their consciousness, and they actually are able to. There was one fella who wasn't really able to talk, but I was whistling with him. He was just like some other music had started, and it just made him start whistling his own tune. And I was just sitting over with him, like, and we were just whistling. It was just the best thing ever. Like, he didn't have to say that, and I didn't have to say that. Like, that was just it. Like, and you know, you see things like that. People, one woman got really sad. All music really upsets her because it reminds her of her husband, who was a musician who died, and so it brought back of any music at all. Like, may even be actually seeing a musical instrument. They wouldn't be places where you'd really see a musical instrument. Would have actually upset her a lot. Like, you know what I mean? It was mad.
That must have been very fulfilling.
Yeah, it was heavy. I was trying it out to see if I would be able to do it, like, and I think I gave it a good shot. It was very heavy. I think I won't be able to. I was gonna say I won't be able to do it again for a very long time until I'm much older, much more mature emotionally. Because it was actually so, like, I won't say emotionally draining, but you're just like, oh my god,
overwhelming.
Here I am. I think I was 20. Like, here I am at 20. I just able to rock in here with my guitar on my back. Like, I'm free to just roam the earth now when I walk out here. These people are trapped here. Do you know what I mean? They don't know what they're doing here. Like, so
it's kind of sad to think that we'll be like that one day.
Yeah.
It's a sad existence.
Hopefully not trapped in a nursing home.
Yeah, by then I think they're getting better and better. The new nursing homes that are being built are gonna care for them better and better. So, like, I'm not as fearful. If I make it to an old enough age that I'm in a nursing home, like, it won't be as bad crack as that.